Topic: Evolution, evidence of common ancestors for living hominids, including humans, out of Africa hypothesis. Aims of lesson. At the end of this lesson you should be able to interpret a phylogenetic tree to show the place of the family Hominidae in the animal kingdom. Know the characteristics that humans share with African apes. Know the anatomical differences between African apes and human with the aid of diagrams. Know the lines of evidence, fossil evidence, genetic evidence and cultural evidence that support the idea of common ancestors for living hominids including humans. Know the evidence, fossil and genetic evidence, for the out of Africa hypothesis. Introduction. You have studied Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection in Lesson 1. You had to differentiate between a species and a population in Lesson 1. You have studied the human skeleton in Grade 10. Concepts and skills. Study the following definitions. Note that at least 2 marks are awarded if you can define a term correctly in the examination. Hominidae, the family to which humans belong. Out of Africa hypothesis, the hypothesis which supports migration of human ancestors from the point of origin. Speciation, the evolutionary process during which new species form. Foramen magnum, the opening in the skull through which the spinal cord enters. Bipedalism, the ability of an organism to walk on 2 legs. Australopithecus, the genus of the fossil little foot. Homo habilis, the first Homo species to use tools. Extinction, the permanent disappearance of a species from Earth. Phylogenetic tree, a diagrammatic representation of possible evolutionary relationships among species. Know the meaning of instructional verbs in test and examination questions, e.g. instructional verb meaning. Name, give the name of something. Differentiate, use differences to qualify between 2 or more categories. Tabulate, draw a table and indicate the answers as direct pairs. Describe, state in sentences the main points of a process. Explain, give your answer in a cause-effect or statement and reason sequence. Compare, give similarities and differences between concepts. Characteristics that humans share with African apes. Differences between humans and African apes. Feature humans, African apes. Foramen magnum. Foramen magnum in a forward position. Foramen magnum in a backward position. Cranium, larger cranium size, smaller cranium size. Spine, more curved / shaped. Less curved / C-shaped. Teeth, smaller teeth / canines. Larger teeth / canines. Jaws, less protruding. Jaws / non-prognatous. More protruding. Jaws / prognatous. Palate. Shape. Small and semicircular. Long and rectangular. Cranial ridges. No cranial ridges across the top of the cranium. Brow ridges. Brow ridges less pronounced. Brow ridges pronounced. Out of Africa hypothesis. All modern humans / Homo sapiens originated in Africa and migrated to other parts of the world. Evidence for out of Africa hypothesis. Fossil evidence. Fossils of Ardipithecus were found only in Africa / Rift Valley / Ethiopia / South Africa. Fossils of Australopithecus were found only in Africa / Rift Valley / Ethiopia / South Africa. The fossils of Homo habilis were only found in Africa. The oldest fossils of Homo erectus were found in Africa. The oldest fossils of Homo sapiens were found in Africa. Genetic evidence. Mitochondrial DNA is inherited only from the maternal line. Analysis of mutations on this mitochondrial DNA shows that the oldest female ancestor was located in Africa, and that all humans descended from her. Common errors made by learners in examinations. Unable to interpret phylogenetic trees. Unable to list similarities between humans and African apes. Unable to identify observable differences from diagrams of skeletal parts of humans and African apes. Do not know what a transitional fossil is. Do not know the out of Africa hypothesis. Activity/assessment. Complete the activity/questions on the sections of human evolution in your textbook. Work through the questions and activities on page 74 to 82 of your Mind the Gap study guide. Consolidation. Define all the terminology relevant to the topic/is covered in this lesson. Identify the similarities and differences between humans and African apes from diagrams. Work through the questions on human evolution in past examination papers. Values. Scientific knowledge and understanding has been developed over time by people who were curious and who persevered with their quest for knowledge. Scientific knowledge is dynamic and can change over time. Conduct research on the various career opportunities in the field of evolution, e.g. paleontology, paleoanthropology, etc. Question 1. The diagram below shows possible evolutionary relationships among some hominids. 1.1 What is this type of diagram called? 1.2 How many of each of the following are represented in the diagram? A. Genera. B. Homo species. 1.3 Name the species that have Paranthropus ethiopicus as a common ancestor. 1.4 When did A. Ardipithecus ramidus become extinct? B. Homo erectus first appear? 1.5 Name the hominid species that existed at the same time as Homo sapiens. Question 2. Read the passage below. 2.1 Define the term transitional fossil. 2.2 Name a characteristic from the passage that Homo naledi shared with both Australopithecus and Homo. 2.3 State one other characteristic from the passage that Homo naledi shared only with Australopithecus. 2.4 Explain two characteristics of a skeleton which are adaptations for bipedalism. 2.5 Give one possible reason why there was a change to smaller teeth in modern humans. 2.6 Fossils are used as one line of evidence for hominid evolution. Name two other lines of evidence. Question 3. The diagrams below show the upper jaws of some fossils. These diagrams are drawn to scale. 3.1 Describe one visible difference between the jaw of a chimpanzee and that of Homo sapiens which show trends in human evolution. 3.2 Based on the differences in dentition, what conclusion can be made about the change in diet from Australopithecus afferensis to Homo sapiens? 3.3 Australopithecus may be described as a transitional species between the chimpanzee and Homo sapiens. A. Define a transitional species. B. Use one visible feature of the jaw to explain why a afferensis may be described as a transitional species. Question 4. The diagram below represents the fossilized skulls of 3 different species of primates. They were either bipedal or quadrupedal organisms that habitually walk on all 4 limbs. 4.1 Label Part 10 and the type of teeth at Y. 4.2 Explain the significance of the location of structure X in Organism C. 4.3 Which of the skulls, A, B or C, belongs to A. An Australopithecine, B. A quadrupedal primate. 4.4 Explain how the change in the skull from B to C could indicate a change in intelligence. 4.5 Tabulate two observable differences, other than those mentioned in questions 4.2 and 4.4, between skulls B and C that represent trends in human evolution.